right, Zest Festers, thank you so much for coming. This is year 23 of Zest Fest. We're glad to be back here in Fort Worth, and thank you all for coming for our first Celebrity Chef Stage cooking demo. I see these chairs up here, reminds me that tomorrow is the wing eating competition. Anybody coming back for that? You are? My apologies in advance, sir, because you'll need to bring one of them. Remember the Gallagher guy that used to have, and he would bust up a watermelon and people would have plastic? Bring that. Anyway, but that's tomorrow from our friends at Buffalo Brothers. Right now, I want to introduce you to not a chef, but a home cook, just like all of us, but a man that has turned that into an avocation. Let me tell you a little bit about the man you see before you, Brian Santiago, native of New Orleans. And I know the first thing you're thinking is, why would you leave New Orleans? But he did, and he came to Fort Worth, and we're awfully glad he did. Cultural preservation. That's what this personal chef, Brian Santiago, is all about. Bringing the different cultures in to when he's cooking for his clients as a personal chef. But there are two things that Brian does that I'm not going to begin to step on. I'll just give you the hint and turn it over to Brian. One is with the folks out at Clear Fork Farms, out at Edwards Ranch, a farmer's market that he manages when he's not a personal chef. Great story. But also, CrunchyMamaFarms.com. And I know you're thinking, it sounded like he said Crunchy Mama Farms. What is that? And that's what I said to him, and it is. It's out in Alford, and I'm not even going to begin to tell you what he does. He'll tell you, and tell you how to make some jambalaya too. Would you please welcome Brian Santiago?
Hey, welcome everybody. How are we doing today? Very good. Welcome to Zest Fest 2024. I'm here to kick off the chef stage for you guys today. I'm like Scott welcomed you guys in. I'm going to do some jambalaya for you guys today. Yeah, he went into everything. I am a personal chef in the area. I don't have a brick and mortar. I come to your home. I bring experiences to you. That way you don't have to go out and hustle and bustle with the restaurant. We can do it in the comfort of your own home. I am for hire. So, when I'm not doing personal chefing, he did mention Crunchy Mama Farms. One of the things I do out there is we do butchering classes. So if you guys ever want to come out there, we teach you how to butcher the entire animal, and I am your chef on site. So I cook for you whenever you are out there doing a whole weekend class of taking apart an entire animal. It is wicked cool. So, are you guys excited for this weekend? Ready for some good food? Yeah? All right, well, today I'm doing jambalaya. Jambalaya is one of my favorite meals to make. I like it. It is very much, very close to my heart. It does tie in both of my cultures. I am from New Orleans. I am Puerto Rican. It is pretty cool that jambalaya brings in a lot of Spanish culture along with the New Orleans culture. Its sister dish is paella. So if you guys know paella, they're very similar in style, just a little bit different of a cooking method. So we're going to go over some ingredients today before we start. So jambalaya is just a very basic mix of ingredients just thrown into the pot at the correct times. We start with butter. We're going to saute down some of the aromatics. You have a nice trinity, which is just bell peppers, garlic, and celery. And then we throw in a little bit of dark meat chicken and some smoked sausage. We can do andouille sausage is traditional, but if you have anything nice and smoked in your refrigerator, that's going to work just as well. And then we throw in some tomatoes. You want to make sure you have all that beautiful juice in the bottom because that's going to add to your rice flavor. And it's going to really richen up the entire dish. As far as seasonings go, I'm going to feature this guy today. This is the Bayou Boom Boom by my friend Brad with Au-Fait Spices. I met him back here in 2022. He's one of my vendors at the Clear Fork Market. We've become pretty good friends. I am a big fan of Slap Your Mama seasoning, but I will say his has become a pretty big staple in my pantry. It's got a really nice balance to it. It's just really wonderful to have on hand. And then we are going to finish the entire dish with this one right here. This is Sin Chili & Co. This is their Cajun Girl hot sauce. I usually do Crystal, but in the spirit of Zest Fest, I went and found us a nice one to put on top of our jambalaya today. So we're going to go ahead and get started. So the first thing you want to do is get your butter nice and melted into your skillet. into your preferably hot skillet. And we're going to add our trinity, which, like I said before, is going to be equal parts of your bell pepper, your onion, and your celery. We're not really looking to get much color on those. All we're trying to do is get a nice little sweat out of these vegetables. Once you start getting color on them, it's going to add a little bit of caramelization. It'll kind of change the flavor up on your jambalaya, but that's not really a big deal. If you get a little color, it's a little bit okay. All you're really trying to do is make sure they get nice and soft. That way they are less offensive to your palate, and they will blend into your rice dish really nicely. This is one of my favorite ones. I remember when I first moved here, the first dish that I had to learn how to cook from back home was my friend's mom. She made the best jambalaya. I called her right up, and I was like, hey, I need you to tell me how to make that. And yeah, we've been making this one ever since. So this is my best friend Mariah's mom. This is Michelle's jambalaya right here. All we're doing is we're getting a nice little sweat on these guys right here.
Brian, what do you find most folks that hire you and bring you in, what are they asking you to cook? What do they want?
Yeah, honestly, it's always tacos. Anytime I show up to a client's house, a lot of times I cook for my friend's Airbnb, so it's always tourists from out of town. And a lot of times what they want is they just want a nice little Mexican experience. So I dive really deep into cultures. I like to bring out my trompos really nice. I'll do a good pineapple salsa. We'll set up a whole taco bar and just have like a nice little bean dips and everything. It's a really fun time.
Do you do something like this when you work in someone's home? Are you available to give them the lesson, the cooking lesson?
Oh, absolutely, yes, sir. I do cooking lessons in your home as well. You just pick anything that you want to learn how to cook, and we can cook it together, and we'll make sure you feel nice and confident about it. I've done cooking lessons where I'll come and teach you how to like pull from your pantry and make just about anything with what you have on hand. There's really nothing special you had to go and buy. So. All right, so once your vegetables here are nice and sweated, you're going to go ahead and add your garlic. You add your garlic a little bit later just to ensure that it doesn't start to burn in the pot. Once that starts to smell a little bit fragrant, once you start to smell that nice, beautiful garlic smell, which is about 30 seconds in, we're going to go ahead and add our tomatoes. And all you're really doing is making sure everything's nice and incorporated, getting married in the pot, getting all those flavors melding together. Once that's sat for about 30 seconds, gets nice and hot, we'll add the chicken and the sausage, and we're going to let that get nice and browned. Okay.
So chicken thighs, I'm assuming, Brian.
Yes. I am a dark meat aficionado. I think it just tastes better. It adds a lot more depth to the dish than your white meat would. And it's also better for you.
Any specific kind of tomatoes you were using? I know that now seems like there's
So
50
tomatoes
kinds
do matter. I'm a big fan of a good San Marzano. I think Italian adds a lot of dishes. They add a lot of depth of flavor to a lot of your dishes. You can use any tomato you have on hand, however. I used Romas today just because they are readily available everywhere you go. But yeah. And then we're going to add our andouille sausage as well. Like I said, any smoked sausage will do that you have in your refrigerator. Anything you picked up at the market that sounded really good. Andouille is just your most traditional sausage for this dish. So.
I assume we could find most, if not all, of these ingredients at Clear Fork Market.
Yes. Our farmers market is a seasonal market. You won't find tomatoes just yet. It's a little early in the season for that, but everything else we do carry over at the market, yes. And then we have this Bayou Boom Boom seasoning mix, which is from Au-Fait Spices. He's over in the corner over here. It is really delicious, and that just adds a really nice flavor to the entire dish. So we're gonna add about 2 tablespoons of that. And you're not really looking to cook your chicken through here. It's going to cook when we cook the rice. All you're really looking to make sure is that it gets like a nice bit of color on it, and all that does is ensure that it doesn't fall apart when everything else is cooking. So you don't have a nice shred, you actually have good bites of chicken in there. Does anybody have any questions for me while we wait for this step?
If anybody has a question, raise your hand. I'll Phil Donahue my way up there to you for anybody that remembers what the heck that is.
I am a big fan of jasmine rice. Jasmine rice has a beautiful scent to it. It just adds a lot to the dish. If you don't have that on hand, regular long grain rice is going to do you just fine. We're going to add a little bit of chicken stock to it. All right, so once your chicken has a little bit of color to it, that's when you dump in your rice. I like to toast it a little bit, that way you don't have to rinse it and get rid of all those starches. The toasting is going to knock that starch off for you a little bit. And you're just going to make sure everything is mixed nice and well. That way everything cooks nice and evenly. And we're going to add about 2 cups of this chicken stock, so about half of this container here. Okay. And then all we're going to do from this point is we're going to sit here and wait together and get to know each other a little bit while this guy comes up to a boil.
Brian, what's the heat level on the boom boom spices you put in there? Which I'm super hot, or is this?
It's got a nice medium heat to it. It's nothing crazy. We're going to add a little bit of hot sauce at the end, and that's going to be the optional bit that we can add more sauce with, or add more spice with. Sorry? It is good. Yeah, it's one of my favorite ones.
Brian, while we're waiting on this to come up, a little more information, if you don't mind, about the Crunchy Mama experience.
Oh, so the Crunchy Mama experience, I found these folks whenever I started my journey on personal chefing. They were looking for a chef to come cook out at their farm. What we do is you come out for a 3-day weekend, and you come out and Sean teaches you how to break down an entire animal throughout the weekend. So it's a beautiful bonding experience. You're there with a group of about 12 people, and you're going from start to finish. We're going to down the entire animal. You skin the cows and you break everything down. And throughout the weekend, you're handing me cuts, and we're cooking for you on site as you're breaking everything down. And you just spend a 3-day weekend with people. Getting to know each other, making some lifelong friendships in the process, but also just learning how to butcher and learning how to basically provide for yourself and for your family. And then when you're done with the weekend, you go home with a good average of about 35 to 40 pounds of meat just to take home with you. And it's just wonderful. It's a good time.
I was talking to K-John just a few minutes ago, and he said that there's a Cajun tradition of that. I don't know if that was something that you have picked up on, being a New Orleans native, obviously. Is there a Cajun aspect to that entire experience?
Not for me personally. That wasn't just, that's, there is a little bit about that, where everybody will get together and they will literally go out to the bayou and go grab them a gator and go hunt them a gator, and everybody will break it down. And you're just doing a rotisserie gator throughout the weekend. It's insane.
So it's like Swamp People if Swamp People were real reality television and not what they put on camera.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
Absolutely. All right, so here we are at the point where our pot has just started to boil. We're going to go ahead and scrape up any of those little bits that may have gotten onto the bottom. And we're going to drop our heat down to a nice simmer, which is good, like a nice medium-low heat. You're going to put a lid on there, and it cooks in about 25 minutes. And that is jambalaya for you guys.
Any questions for Brian before we start sampling some of this incredible jambalaya he made? Anything? I can't stress enough how excited I am about the Crunchy Mama thing. I mean, most of us go to the grocery store or to the meat market if we're lucky enough, maybe go to Central Market over in Dallas, but we don't know.
No,
we've never seen how that happens. It's just in the package, wrapped in cellophane, and now we get to see it from, if you'll forgive me, from rooter to tutor for a pig.
Yeah, pretty much.
Same thing for beef.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just such an experience. It's such a different experience because all of these animals are so well raised, and you can see it in the way that the meat looks when you open up the animal. It's just, I've never seen pork so red before. They're Idaho pasture pigs are what we usually use, and they are just absolutely delicious. Like, it is just some of the best pork you'll ever eat. And then we do different varieties of cows when you're out there. Everything is just absolutely fantastic. The cows are a grass-fed and grass-finished beef. It is just an insanely beautiful flavor. So
they can find you at Clear Fork Market on the weekends?
Yes.
And otherwise available for hire to come into your home as a personal chef, or out at Crunchy Mama Farms at crunchymamafarms.com.
Mm-hmm.
Before we start sampling, how about a big round of applause for our friend Brian Santiago. Brian, thank you so much. Sampling will be over at the sampling stations. We'll have those out in just a minute.
All right.
Thank you all for coming. Eddie Dean is coming up at 3 p.m. today here at the Celebrity Chef Stage.